What up, Dogettos? Welcome back to Dogo Badaderos, the podcast dedicated to the true, authentic form of the Dogo Argentino dog. This podcast is for the hunter, the exhibitor, and the enthusiast alike. This will be our fourth installment of the Las Pampas Kennels interview with Raul Zeballos Jr. Please stay tuned. It's going to be a good one. If you haven't already, I would definitely suggest you going to check out the other 3 installments of this interview. And please give us a like, a share, a subscribe, and give me a comment. Let me know how it's going.
And my dad, he's a very tough man. He's very tough. He's that generation, that like he always told me, if you get in a fight, when I was a kid, he told me, if you get in a fight, you better win, because if not, I'm gonna be more mad at you.
Sounds like my dad.
And that's how he raised me. He raised me to go head first, and that's, and I value that a lot, because I'm teaching my daughters the same way. My dad said something to me, and it's lived with me all my life. He said it to me when actually it was during that tough time. I was like maybe 8 years old. I was being bullied by these kids because I had the lisp, and it was because, I needed braces, and you can't get braces if you're a little older,
Mm-hmm.
And I had a gap in my front teeth, and then it gave me a lisp. And he told me, you're not food. We eat food.
Yeah.
He told me that. And that's one of those things that has been a formation of my life. And that is, something that, the Dogo was very important to me growing up, because that dog Chimby, he was a hunting dog. I went on hunts, and this is the thing, that all those kids that were bullying me, they didn't do the crazy cool stuff that I did. And I didn't talk about it because I didn't have they would never know. They didn't know, like I went hunting, when I was 6, 7 years old for the first time with my dad. And I went hunting with him, like old school way, with a knife on horseback,
Yeah.
Like not going and hunting it. And again, it's not that I'm disrespecting it, but it's the difference between you're out in the field and you shoot a deer, 100 yards away from you, and you go and with 6 dogs, and catch a boar.
Yeah, hiking for days.
Yeah, hiking for days. I mean, like I was doing that stuff with my dad when I was 7 years old. And I officially killed my first boar when I was 14. Like I actually got the knife and stabbed it, actually 13 years old. Yeah. So I was doing a lot of cool stuff that those kids didn't even imagine. I now in hindsight, I know how much tougher I was than them because of the way my father raised me. And that superficial thing of making fun of somebody with a lisp, that today, none of that stuff faces me. Like I don't care about that anymore, but at that moment with that dog Chimby, he was my best friend. Like, he got me through that, and that is the compassion and the love of a dog that at one moment could be fighting a boar or a mountain lion, and then at the next moment is laying in bed with me and I'm hugging him and I'm actually crying to him about how I'm feeling about these bullies in school, and he was there comforting me, and that is, the magic of this breed. They're not just big, white, aggressive dogs. They're actually not aggressive at all. They know when they need to be.
That's important.
Yeah. But most of the time, they're just, they want to just love you. And that's, that's something that, today, a lot of people, think the Dogo needs to be aggressive, needs to be mean, needs to, I see a lot of videos of people showing the dogs, getting aggressive, and they think that that's a positive quality. And I got to tell you something. My father always told me this. The temperament of a Dogo should be that of the sweetest, most loving animal to you. But when they need to turn it on because they're hunting or they're guarding, that's when they get aggressive. A dog that's aggressive without those things needed is a dog that is dangerous, and you don't want a dogo like that. You know, and the temperament to me is the most beautiful thing of the dogo. The dogo is an animal that, like I said, it got me through those tough years, until I got my braces and then my lisp was gone, and it got me through that. It actually, like, I gotta tell you, like, being 6, 7, 8 years old and being made fun of by people is really tough. But that dog got me through it.
Yeah.
His fortitude, his love, his loyalty. So to me, he is the most special dog I had ever, because he was my buddy, he was my best friend, he was my brother. But there's been other great dogs, and we had a dog that was named Guarani that won, like dozens and dozens of shows. We had a female. Her name was Altiva. She was my dog. Since I picked her since she was a baby. Since I think the day after she was born, I picked her. She was the daughter of 2 world champion dogs, and then she won the world show in 1997.
Oh.
And she won, yeah. And she is actually, you can trace that dog as Stampa. She actually looks just like her. Stampa looks just like Altiva. She's a total recreation of that dog. 5, 6, almost 30 years if you really think about it. She won the world show in 1997, so she had to be born in 95, probably 94, 95. Okay.
Wow.
And we have a dog, and the Stampa looks just like her, absolutely just like her. It's like crazy, and that's something that we're very proud of, in that we can recreate some of our legendary dogs. And that is that is because we breed for purpose. We don't breed to sell our dogs. We sell because we can't keep every single one of them.
Of course.
We just that's really why we sell. But it's not our business. It's not how we make a living. It's never been that way. That we sell dogs because, and we don't really like to sell to breeders. We like to sell to people that are gonna have them in their home, and the way we look at it is, if they're not gonna be enjoy them, appreciate them. Exactly. We don't want them to go and be in a cage somewhere and be a breeding dog for somebody else. We don't do that. Our purpose is to make sure they go to a home that's going to love them, appreciate them, and treat them, like the incredible, being that they are. And that is, and that is, what our purpose is with this breed. It's just to advance these lines, to maintain this, because, the Dogo, like you said, it's a brand new breed. We're talking about a history that's less than 100 years old. 70, 80 years old is, when the dog first was shown to the world, and then when it was first standardized, we're talking 1964. So, 60 years. So it's not some.
And if you think of the 1998 change,
it's not very long.
Of time.
We're talking about 30. Yeah. So, to maintain and save this breed and preserve it as it was originally intended to, the dog clubs, the FCA, the FCI, AKC, DACA, and all the clubs internationally have to truly work together to be exclusive. It's not about letting every dogo in. It's not about taking, the $50, $100, whatever is the membership fee that they take, per dog to be a member. That's not what it's about. If we want to truly maintain this breed and save it from becoming something that it's not, all the breeders have to realize that if you're not breeding to the standard, then you need to work towards that, not ask for changes. Nobody can change what Agustin put together in 1964. It's almost offensive and insulting for anybody to say they want to alter what
It
he laid
dilutes.
down. You know, it's like I don't. I'm gonna say something that's gonna be a curse, but it's the truth. Who the fuck are you to want to challenge
Yeah.
what the brother of the creator of the breed put together to finish his brother's work? Who are you to do that? Who are you to say I know better than Agustin? You know, you're not. I wouldn't challenge him. My father wouldn't challenge him. You know, so who are you to do that? And that is what people need to realize. You know, nobody knows more about this breed than what's in those notes. And nobody alive knows more about this breed than my father. That's really the truth. You know, he was there. He was lucky that life put him in certain key points of this breed, and he was able to be a part of that. You know, he tells me, now he's 83 years old. He's not as strong as he was, and and he's just
Yeah.
catching up with him. But he tells me something, almost every day. We go and look at the dogs, we go and have a coffee outside and look at them run on our property. He always tells me, this is the most important work I've ever done. And this is the most important work you're going to pass on to my granddaughters. And I agree with that.
Truly a family heirloom.
Yeah.
Passed down to the generations.
Yes. Yes.
So, I'll kind of bring it around the other way a little bit. You said you guys have about 30 dogs on the property. That's
yes.
quite a bit. What do you guys typically feed? What's diet like for you guys? And is it pretty much the same as what you always remembered your dad saying, or was it different back in the day than what you do now?
Okay, so we have worked with the same vet now for about let's see, about 10, 15 years, okay? Almost 15 years with the same vet. And we have tested a lot of the foods. We've bought the super expensive ones. Mm-hmm. We have tried, we never tried the raw diet because our vet actually advises us against it because of bacteria. Mm-hmm. Raw diet can give the dogs bacteria that can cause intestinal issues. So we actually are not advocates of that. I know there's a lot of people that swear by it and there's benefits, but our vet told us that that he has dealt with a lot of bacterial intestinal issues. So he told us if you want to feed the dog raw diet, you got to do like yogurts and things to maintain their probiotics, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Because it can really mess up their intestinal tract, and then diarrhea can deteriorate a dog very quickly. Yep. So we've really never messed with the raw diets. What we do is we do right now. We actually been using this for about 6 months, this kibble, because we switched from a previous one that we didn't. There were changes on their constitution of the products that we're using to make the food, so we switched. But we use Diamond. We use the Diamond High Energy, and then we mix cooked ground beef, chicken liver, chicken kidneys, and chicken hearts.
Okay.
All cooked. All of that
Get
cooked.
All those minerals in there.
Yeah, and then sweet potatoes, and we mix that with the kibble. So they get basically. They eat about, I would say the dogs eat, if you measure the food, they eat about a full 2 cups of kibble each. So we go through a 50-pound bag pretty much every day. Through the 50-pound bag of food. Yeah. And then we mix the ground beef, the kidneys, and all cooked always, okay? Like we never give them any meat raw. We cook it, no seasoning. 80-20 ground beef. Sure. We make sure that we suck all the fat out of it. So we cook it and then pour all the fat out. Mm-hmm. Okay, so so it's not runny and fatty because that's gonna give them can make them throw up. So much fat.
Yeah, yeah, very
And then
rich. Yeah.
yeah. So and then whenever we see a dog that needs to put on weight or anything, we actually add bone broth to that. Like we buy the bone broth and do that. So,
Okay.
we try to, the kibble, is the basis of the nutrition. A good kibble with high fats is very important because they're going to get a lot of their main nutrition that way and fiber. And then the other thing that we add is, like I said, the sweet potato. The sweet potato helps with digestion. And then, like I said, that organ meat is very wonderful for them. They love the chicken liver,
Yeah, that's
the
the good stuff.
kidneys, and the hearts. They love that stuff, and it's full of minerals, proteins. And then that's what we do. And then our dogs, because we have so many, we have to rotate the exercise schedule. So every day, so what we usually do is we put the pack of five that's out all the time. You can actually hear one barking. I think he probably saw something because I don't know if you can hear him right now. He's barking outside. Um, but
Yeah, you're trying to get in the interview.
yeah, he's trying to get in the interview. Yeah, he's barking. Probably, it's a coyote season here. They're breeding right now. So actually, about 2 weeks ago,
We've
the
almost caught
dogs that
one
we have
ourselves. We
outside,
were close.
they actually caught one, and it wasn't
Oh,
pretty.
nice.
It
I can
was not
imagine.
pretty. We found it that
Especially more
we
than
found
one.
it that
I can only
following
imagine.
morning, and it was torn to shreds. The 60-pound coyote was just,
Just a coyote fur after that.
oh my god, it was a disaster. We had to check our dogs to make sure they weren't bitten or scratched, to give them, antibiotics, but none of them were bitten or anything, so it was fine. So, but they caught it by surprise is what I think happened because the coyote was torn to shreds. But
Yeah, that's light work for a dogo.
oh yeah, 60-pound
Yeah,
coyotes, like, it's nothing, nothing, nothing,
yeah,
and especially five of them. Oh my god.
yeah, yeah.
For them it was
Fast.
fun. It was like, where's the rest of your friends?
Yeah,
And
you get to
but
really get
that
a
we're
workout
going
in.
through the breeding season, so it's annoying because they do get on the property every once in a while.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, the I don't know, we lost track because of Conan barking.
Oh, you were
Um,
saying that you rotate the different groups out.
oh yeah, we rotate the different groups to exercise. So the dogs get exercise. So we put in the five that are outside. We usually put them like inside the house while the others exercise. So we exercise them in groups of two or three, depending on, sometimes as many as four. Who gets along. Obviously dogs are like
Yep.
people. Some dogs don't like each other, some do.
Yep.
So it's, we got to rotate them. So every day they get about an hour to 2 hours of exercise, depending on the temperature. And that's something you got to be careful with because you don't want them to, like here in Florida over the summer, you would only exercise them about 20 minutes. And some days we
Oh yeah.
wouldn't exercise them at all because the
Very high
heat index
humidity.
was 130-degree humidity, 130-degree heat index. So it was like 100 degrees, but it would feel like 130 with the humidity. We were like, no, they're not
Wow.
going out right now. We would just, let them sleep. They would just sleep all day, with that heat. So
Yeah.
that's what we
Yeah.
would do. But normally we rotate them. They exercise again. On weather like now, they get about an hour and a half of exercise where they don't stop running. They play, and a lot of them, which is really cute to see them because they play like puppies, which is really adorable because they've been,
Yeah.
again, they've grown up together, all these dogs, so they know each other since they were very young. So they still, excuse me, they play like, they play tug of war. They play by each other. They play with each other. And it's so that's what we try to keep that mentality that we're all part of the
Yeah.
same pack. And with a dogo, the owner is the one that sets the tone. There's no
Yeah.
alpha in our kennel. We're the alpha. And that's something that you have to learn with a
That's the only
dogo.
way it's going to work with multiple dogos.
You're the alpha. You can't have a dog control the pecking order, because if they do, you have no power. And God forbid you got to stop a fight or something, that won't respect you. And that's the thing. If you have multiple dogs, that fights will happen, and it's on you to make sure that the behavior is learned, that they got to respect you as their leader. And that's something that comes from being a strong owner.
If you made a decision they can be together, they figure it out.
Exactly. Dogos are not for everybody. They're really not. But it's a matter of, and that's something that, a lot of breeders have to accept. They have to realize that when you're selling a dog to somebody, you got to vet them. You got to educate them. You got to be there as a resource, because the dogo is not like any other breed. It really isn't. The dogo is relying on the expectations that you present to the dog. The dog is going to react to, what you tell it to do, what you tell it to behave like, what your expectations of it are. The dogo's not going to, if you don't do that, the dogo will run right over you, because they are a force of nature. They really are. So you got to be strong, but never with violence. And I tell this to people all the time on the dogo pages, on the forums, when they're like, oh, my dog's just misbehaving, I'm going to get this choke collar. I'm like, no, violence does not work with a dogo. Aggressiveness never works with a dogo. Trust and respect. You got to earn the respect of the dogo. They have to see you as their leader. If they don't, you are not strong enough to have a dogo.
Yeah. And that's a lot, unfortunately.
But yeah, so the exercise to me is important. It's crucial. I mean, they gotta run. They gotta. So like I said, we exercise. 2 to 3, sometimes 4 at a time. So they all get about, I would say, on a week they get, about 3-4 hours of exercise each. So that's that keeps them in shape, keeps them.
That's plenty.
Yeah, that's a lot of exercise. And at the same time,
especially running with other dogs, that's the best kind of exercise. Yeah. They really get the stretch.
Yeah, because they jump in the lake, they swim, they play everywhere, they run up and down the property, they play with each other. So we manage it that way. So, we avoid any problems, because like I said, dogs are like people. Some people don't like each other, some people love each other. So we make sure to keep the dogs that love each other with the ones that love each other, and the ones that don't like each other, there's like one female that she doesn't like anybody, so she goes out by herself.
Yeah.
She's that's just who she is.
She's a diva.
She doesn't like any other dogs, so she goes out by herself. She runs by herself, and usually she does it. It's funny because she tells you when she's done, and she goes back in her kennel and goes to sleep. Like they're all on 10 by 12 cages, so they have very big cages. So they're all so it's they dogos, and a lot of people ask me this question, a dogo can jump a 6-foot fence. How do you contain your dogs? And I'm like, we don't have to contain them. A happy dog is going to want to be where they're going to want to be.
Yeah, they're content. Yep.
If your dogs are happy, they're not going to run away. At least dogos, because dogos are not dumb. They're not out there chasing, something stupid. They're not, they're not dumb like that. Again, we've never had a dog escape our property. Like if a dog has,
they really want to. I've had that same problem. I've found out that I've had a problem with a part of my fence, and my dog never went out, even though he may bark at the fence on somebody on the other side. He never really wants to get outside the fence.
No,
he
they
wants to
understand.
stay on his property.
Absolutely, they know what's their property. They understand their perimeter. They don't feel a need to get out. They're like, and my dogs, there's people, that, like trucks that drive that are loud, whatever, they'll bark at them, they'll run from one end to the property to the other. and things like that. And, but they don't, excuse me, I've had this cough for the last like 3 weeks. That's just, and it
Oh, it's
makes my
been going
throat
around
itchy.
up here too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I don't know what it is, I actually don't know what it is. I even tested for COVID to see if it was COVID, but it came negative, so I don't
It's
know what it
almost worse when
was.
you don't have a name for it.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And it's like this postnasal type drip that gets right on your throat.
Yep.
It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. But anyways, so like I was saying, you're right. Like your dog with the with a fault in your fence, they didn't get out because they're not like, and that's something that dogos are so smart. They really are. Like people think, because they're a big dog, they're big dog dumb, but they're not.
No,
Their
not at all.
intelligence
They're very
level
intelligent.
is so, I mean, and that's something that, like, I'm glad that you pointed out your dog, so it's not just like me here bragging about the breed, but you're talking about your own
No,
personal
I was
example
scared
with
to
your dog.
death. But
No, because you're
luckily you
right. A
didn't
dogo
go.
gets, you think, oh crap, my dog's gonna get loose, this and that, and then
Yeah, it could have been bad.
yeah, yeah, you don't want that to happen with your dog because
Yeah,
oh my, they get into someone's property and they don't know what, and they might shoot them because they might be afraid.
exactly. Exactly.
Like that's
Exactly.
really like, and it's not the dog being aggressive or anything. It's just people, the perception they have of a big white dog. They're gonna think it's some big white pit bull and get scared.
Yep. Yep. And you can't blame them. It's
No, and
not
you
their
can't
fault.
blame.
It's our
It's not their
responsibility.
fault. It's our
Yep.
responsibility as dog owners to make sure that our dogs are properly kept in our property. You're right,
Yep.
absolutely.
So
But
how well do your dogs deal with the temperatures down there? I know you said you're in South Florida, so it can get very hot. I know it doesn't get as cold, but have they been very resilient to the heat to be able to
yes,
sustain it?
yes. Our dogs, our
Nice.
kennels are outside. I mean, we have fans for the kennel. When it gets really really hot. But the dogo is a very resilient animal. I mean,
I've heard
they
that. Very
adapt.
rustic.
Yeah, they adapt. Like, they adapt to snow. They adapt to heat. They're like, when it gets really hot. What we do is, to be honest with you, they love to get like cold baths when it's hot. Like they wanna either jump in the lake
Yeah.
or they want us to
Yep.
hose them with cold water. That's what they want. They come to us, so we hose them. They want to get
Yep.
wet with the cold water, so they love water. Dogos love water.
We
That's
do a lot of
something that,
river time here too.
yeah, like they love to swim in the lake. They like, actually, one of our dogs loves to eat the catfish in our lake. He actually will swim all the way down and come back up with a catfish. I'm
Catfish
like,
owner.
yeah, he loves catfish. So, you know,
That's pretty
it's
cool.
it's really cool. One of our dogs, Dante, he loves catfish. It's
So how
hilarious
did
to
you
me.
decide to which ones of the 30 got to be the lucky five to be inside? Were those guys just special, or did they have special
Yeah,
personalities?
it was the personalities. It was the personalities. It was,
You definitely have to be
dogs that,
special.
yeah, it was their personality, their behavior,
Yeah,
the willingness to get along, their
yeah.
willingness to,
Not want to start trouble.
yeah, and also I have
Are
to
they
tell
all
you that,
intact?
yeah, yes. So when they go in heat, they're separated. The females are separated.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Then they go into a kennel. They have to go into a kennel at that time.
Yeah.
To be
So
separated.
so how do you guys make your decisions on your breedings? Is that something that you kind of plan out, or just whatever happens happens? I know you said you have
No, no,
different.
no, no. We plan, our breeds are all planned. So we have a we have three different plans that we map out. We have a 3-year breeding plan, a 5-year breeding plan, and a 10-year breeding plan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we map it out. So I already know, like we have like we have our G litter and our F litter. Okay, those litters can breed with one another. Okay, the F and the G, and the H and the I litter, and the E litter. Sorry, the H and the E litter. They can breed with each other. So we already know that their grandchildren will be breeding with these dogs. So we plan our breeds very far in advance. So we have a whole plan. We know who's going to breed with who. It's very, very scientific. We look at pedigrees. We look at really what we look at is bloodlines. We look which lines we want to breed with each line, and it's a very scientific process. We look at the grandparents, and we're like, okay, we want the qualities from this grandparents to be passed on to these dogs. So it's very scientific, and obviously we do know inbreeding. That's something that's very important. We don't do line breeding. We breed, generationally. Like some dogs, like there's some males that are 4 years old, 5 years old, and 6 years old that are going to breed with some of these puppies that are being born right now.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so we don't,
So
we
they're
do
close but far away. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's to maintain openness, because we have to maintain openness with our lines. You can't get into a pyramid and change, and then you want to be very careful with how you breed, and that's something that not only requires to properly breed. You need a population of. There's something my dad always told me. Minimum to have a working kennel, you need 14 females and 6 males. So that's the ratio we try to maintain. 14 females to 6 males.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely very scientific. Never heard of that
angle. Yeah.
So do you guys could someone if they were looking for a dog to do specific things, is that something they could talk to you about? Like, hey, I want to do some sport work with this dog, maybe like you said, you had a U.S. Marshal that had one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I've been seeing a lot more being done with them now, different sports and different outside of just catch work. I've seen diving, lure coursing, and fast cat, and even shuts hunting as well. So,
yes. Now I gotta tell you, there was actually she was one of the people that helped format the breed standard for us to present to the AKC, which they didn't accept anyways, but she helped us format it in, 97, 98. Carolyn Harris, she actually trained one of our dogs in, I can never say it right, the Schutzhund, I can't say it. It's one of those words. How can you help me say it right? Because I can never say it right.
Schutzhund. Like shut the door.
Yeah, like Schutzhund. I always butcher the word.
I'm sure a German will tell us that we're both wrong, but
probably,
that's how I think you say it.
That's a language, English, Spanish, and Italian. Those are the ones that I speak. But other than that, German, I have no idea. You know what I mean?
That's outside the box there.
Yeah, outside. So Schutzhund, or however you say it, right? So she trained one of our dogs and actually took it to a championship in Germany and placed in the top 3 in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
She actually would train I think it was Belgian Malinois.
Yeah.
And she got one of our dogs, trained him, and she placed in the podium. I don't think we won. I don't believe we won, but we got 2nd or 3rd place in the championship in Germany.
Oh, wow. That's
cool. And I'm talking like 1998, 99, somewhere around that. So no,
I'm sure nobody even knew what that dog was.
No, they didn't. There was it was actually a friend of my dad that we've lost touch with. Over the last, I would say 10 years was the last time we spoke with him. Otto Schimpf. He was a breeder of dogos in Germany, who was a good friend of my dad. He had really good dogs actually as well. He had really good dogos in the 90s. And he wrote a book actually in German about the dogo. Very good guy. He was the one that connected us with the people for the Schutzhund. And like I said, this dog Kaita, he placed in the podium. I know that. I don't remember what place he got. This, we're talking almost 20 years ago, so I don't remember exactly how well he did. But I know I have the files somewhere. I have to look for them. But I know he placed in the podium, and that to me is incredible.
Yeah, that's
so Dogo's
that's not easy.
No, it's not easy, and she trained the dog for maybe 8 months to get him to that point. She actually had the dog at her facility in Oregon, I think is where she was, Oregon or Washington State. I don't remember. But she was it was either Oregon or Washington State, if I remember correctly. And she had the dog at her facility. She took the dog to the show in Germany, and he placed. And that dog actually he was a reserve, so he got second place at the World Show in 1997. He got second place to another dog that was ours. So, it was that year we got first and second in male and female, the last time we showed.
Oh, that's the way to go out.
Yeah. We didn't know it was going to be the last time we were going to show. We really, it's crazy. We didn't know it was going to be the last time. And then the FCA did the first standard change, and it's been downhill since then, on that. It's a shame. It's a shame. But I'm hoping,
I haven't touched that world yet.
Oh, it's it's the clubs and all that, like everything, they're a disaster. The guy running it now, somebody has spoken with, they're a nice guy, the one running DACA now. He said he's somebody that I think his interests are good for the breed. So let's see what happens, I spoke with him, and let's see if he wants to do the right thing. So, it's all a matter of, him getting his board members and the other members to agree to make the positive changes to the breed. So let's hope he can do that.
Yeah. That's all.
But that's all we can do right now, is hope that there's positive change. But, we're still always going to be here, breeding them to the original breed standard, regardless of what's going on outside of this property. We're always going to be here, curating this breed, preserving this breed, and making sure that the Dogo continues to exist as what it was originally meant to be, and what it will always be, to me, the greatest dog in the history of dogs.
And that's awesome. That's good to know that there's always going to be a place you can get the concentrate from the tap. The good stuff with the paperwork to follow. Not just the stories.
Yes.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Well, I won't hold you on too long, man. I think it's getting close to that 2-hour mark.
It is. I see that. Yeah, we've been talking. I can talk about these dogs forever, as you can see. Could probably talk another 4 hours.
And I'm just sitting here and soaking it up, man. This is like Kid in the Candy Store to me. I really like hearing the way the formation came, and just a different aspect of. I just really like hearing it from everyone. From a breeder's point of view, from a hunter's point of view, from a just enthusiast like myself. I'm like a researcher. That's
and I love what you're doing, man. I really do. I love what you're doing. I think that people that want to get the information out there, it's so valuable. We're that's like our website right now. We're revamping it, but we always had the original breed standard on our website. The website's getting revamped. We're trying to update the look.
I'm going to get that from you. I'm going to make an exclusive video of just reading that out with your
absolutely.
With your permission.
I'll send that. I'll send that to you, and we can do that. I would love to share that. And like I said, I hope that if we achieve anything with what we did today, is that people learn to love this breed for everything that it can be. It's not just a big white hunting dog. It's not just a big white dog. The Dogo is a multifaceted, you know, multi-talented, intelligent, courageous, loyal, incredible, beautiful, and smart. It's an animal that will love you, protect you, and die for you if it has to. And there is
Yep.
no other breed that will do what this animal can do. So much more than just a hunting dog, so much more than just a guard dog, so much more than a companion. They're everything that a dog should be.
Powerful words, but I definitely agree. I definitely. Do people know
Yes.
where they can find you at? Are you guys on Instagram, or do you guys have a place where they
Well,
can reach out to
I
you?
mean, normally our website, dogoargentino.com. Like I said, right now the website is down because we're revamping it, but that's our website, dogoargentino.com. We are on Facebook as Dogo Argentino Las Pampas Kennels, and we have a small Instagram presence. I have a personal Instagram that is more geared towards music, but I do post a lot of pictures of our dogs there. And if my father or my name, Raul Zeballos, and Las Pampas Kennels, you'll find us. You put Raul Zeballos Dogo Argentino, find a lot of information about us as well. And but like I said, Facebook, Instagram, and our website, which is a great resource. We'll have the original breed standard posted there soon. Once we get the website back up and revamped, and we're looking for a relaunch. Hopefully by the end of the first quarter of this year.
All right, Dogueros, that was part 4 of our 4-part series with the Zeballos family, Las Pampas Kennels. If you guys enjoyed it like I did, please leave me a like, a share, and give me a comment. Let me know what was your favorite part. And don't be scared to check out the first, the second, or the third installment of this video. Peace.